My name is Edward, and I'm from Green Climate Conservation Initiative. We have come to your school today to speak to you on climate change. How many of you have heard of climate change before? Have you heard of climate change before? Okay. Okay, I will start by explaining certain things so that you get a better understanding of what climate change is. First of all, I will start with what weather. How many of you know what weather is? When we talk about weather. Weather, okay. So weather, when we talk about weather, we're actually talking about changes in the atmosphere, short-term change in the atmosphere. You understand? So when we're talking about changes in the atmosphere, what do we mean by changes in the atmosphere? We mean there are some things that happened in the atmosphere that make up weather conditions, like the wind, the way the wind blows, the way the cloud forms, the way the rain forms too, then the way the temperature is. You understand? Then the way the sun shines too. All this is weather, we call them weather conditions. When they happen under a short period of time, we call them weather conditions, right? Now, we'll go ahead and explain what climate is. Climate. Have you heard of climate before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we talk about climate, we are talking about a long-time weather pattern. A long-time weather pattern. Usually within a region and usually within a period of time. Now when we talk about climate, we are referring as, I just explain what weather is. Now when that weather condition maintains a particular pattern over time, let's say a minimum of 30 years, it becomes a climate of that place. Do you understand do you understand the concept now? Do you understand? Are you following me? I just explained weather and I'm also explaining climate. I said climate is actually a long-time change in the weather pattern. Do you understand? Within a region, over a period of time, usually minimum of 30 years. Do you understand? So when a weather condition has maintained a particular occurrence, a period of 30 years, we can assume that place, that's the climate of that region. That's the climate of that environment. Do you understand? Are you people following me? Yes. Okay. Now, let's talk about climate change. I hope you're able to understand what I'm explaining about weather and climate now. Now, let's talk about climate change. When we talk about climate change, we're talking about a long-time shift in temperature and in weather pattern. Now, what we mean by long-time shift, we mean that there has been a consistent changes in maybe temperature or weather pattern over a period of time from normal condition to abnormal condition. Do you understand? That's what I mean by a long-time shift in temperature or in weather pattern. There has been a consistent move from the normal to abnormal condition. Do you understand? And we say that is because we say that climate change has occurred, usually in terms of temperature or in terms of weather pattern. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
I hope you're understanding what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
I will ask you a question at the end of the day. If you're not following me, you better give your ears. So when we have a long-time shift in temperature or weather pattern, it is assumed that there's a change in the climate. Do you understand? Now, what actually causes that climate change? Okay, now there are some climate change. There are some climate change that are actually caused by the activities of the sun. That one is natural. Do you understand? The majority of the climate change, the activities that we carry out as human beings, actually cause that climate change. Are you following me? Most of our activities on the earth here cause climate change. And part of such activities are what we do, like the burning of fossil fuel. How many of you know what is fossil fuel? Okay, now fossil fuel are fuel that are derived from, there are energies that are derived from oil and gas or from coal. Do you know what coal is? Coal. Coal is one of the mineral resources that we mine from the earth. Do you understand? In the olden days, though most of you are not born, they used to use it to drive train. They used it to fuel the train those days. So burning of that coal actually releases gas into the atmosphere. Do you understand? Then when we talk about oil and gas, I'm talking about crude oil. How many of you have heard of crude oil before? Nigeria has large deposit of crude oil, and that's one of our sources of income. Do you understand? So crude oil, we call crude oil and gas because from crude oil you get oil. You also get gas. When you refine crude oil, you get oil and you get gas. Are you following? So when we burn this fossil fuel, it tends to release gas into the atmosphere. Do you understand? I hope you now understand what fossil fuel is. Yeah. So when we burn those crude oil or coal, it releases gas into the atmosphere. Do you understand? It releases gas into the atmosphere. And majority of the gas that it releases, one of the gas that it releases that is harmful to the climate is carbon dioxide. It releases carbon dioxide. I don't know, okay, people have chemistry students or inter science. Okay. It releases what we call carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. It also releases another gas called methane. These major gases are the thing that causes climate change. You know what those two gases cause? There are other gases, but these are two major gases that are released into the atmosphere. And those gases, when they enter into the atmosphere, they form something like a blanket on the atmosphere. They form something like atmosphere, and when sun hits the atmosphere, such gases allow sun to penetrate into the atmosphere, but it doesn't allow sun to leave the atmosphere. I don't know how you get my point. Okay, let me give you an example. If you get, I usually give this example so that you should have an understanding of what greenhouse gases are. When you get a tumbler, a glass tumbler. You know what a tumbler is, right? You get a glass tumbler that is transparent, that is white, and you get a candlestick. If you light a candlestick and if you use that tumbler to cover the candlestick, what will happen within that environment? Can anybody tell me? Very good. Very good. I love that. That environment will heat up. When you cover that candle with a glass, that environment, that air within that glass will heat up. And once it heats up, it gets hotter and hotter. You understand? It gets hotter and hotter. So now what greenhouse gases does is that greenhouse gases acts as that glass. You understand? The greenhouse gases that I'm talking about, they act as that glass. They cover the atmosphere so that when the heat from the sun gets to the earth, the heat will not be able to go out. Do you understand? Do you understand the concept of the way it works now? Now, when we burn those fossil fuel, that's energy sources from fuel, from diesel, from coal, they produce gases, and those gases go to the atmosphere and form what we call greenhouse gases. Do you understand? When they form that greenhouse gases, what it means is that it allows the sun to heat the earth, but it does not allow the sun to escape, the heat from the sun to escape. Do you understand? So that causes what we call global warming. Have you heard of global warming? It causes global warming. It means that the atmosphere is warming normal than the usual way it's supposed to be. The usual way that God created it. Do you understand? The atmosphere becomes hot because of those heat from the sun that is being caged by the greenhouse gases. Do you understand? The atmosphere becomes warmer than the normal temperature. Do you understand? So now, the thing causes so many things. Do you understand? It can cause, now most of the activities of those, the temperature, when there's a rise in temperature of this atmosphere, it causes the water, the sea water, to rise above the normal level. Do you understand? When the heat from the sun when it begins to heat the atmosphere, it also affects the sea. Do you understand? People know what the sea is, right? The sea, the ocean, the rivers and all that. The water in the sea also gets heated. Do you understand? And there are aquatic animals that live there. Once it gets heated more than the normal temperature, those animals begin to die. Do you understand? Then the water level also begin to rise as a result of those heating. Do you understand? Now it also causes abnormal rainfall. Sometimes you see rainfall every time. Now, what are the things that causes those rainfall? The temperature of the atmosphere also contributes. That's why you have cases of flooding. When there's a consistent when there's consistent rainfall, it causes what? Flooding, right? It causes flooding. And once there's flooding, it causes so many things. It can displace people from where they live. It can cause people's plants, what people planted not to grow normal. Do you understand? It causes breakdown in so many of our activities when there's flood. In some regions also, it also can cause what we call drought, scarcity of water. That's the heating of this temperature that I'm telling you about. Once it's heated, there are so many things that it causes. Do you understand? There are so many things that happens as a result of the rise in temperature. Now, if you travel outside the country, places like the United States, there are some things that happen. There are some natural disasters that happen in those kind of areas, where you have sometimes you see massive wind carrying things. Massive wind, that wind they carry a hurricane. This is a result of changes that are occurring in the atmosphere. Now, if people that are actually experiencing most of the changes in the atmosphere, it happens everywhere. It happens in Nigeria, other parts of the world. But there are some countries that where the thing happens more. Those countries where we have high level of industries. You understand? You know, when we have industries, we burn diesel to operate the industry. We also release, maybe if it's a manufacturing company, it goes into production. And as they are going into production, they also releasing 1 or 2 gases into the atmosphere. So there are countries that are highest when it comes to this climate change, the effect of climate change, because they release most of those gases, they release more of those gases than other nations. People understand? I hope you understand. Like places like China, they are highly industrialized. They have a lot of industries. So because of those industries, there's a whole lot of climate change in those areas. Do you understand? There's a whole lot of climate change because they release a lot of gases into the atmosphere. So countries like America, India, the European nations, Brazil, Indonesia, these are countries that are highly industrialized. If you go to those places, they suffer a lot of climate change. I hope you follow you. I hope you are understanding what I'm saying, right? Now, scientists have been able to do research and they came up with a result that the Earth, that's the Earth where we live now, this atmosphere, is actually, the temperature has actually increased more than the normal temperature. It has increased by 1.1 degrees Celsius. It has increased by 1.1 degrees Celsius, meaning that it has risen above the normal temperature. How people are following? All these my statements now, I'm going to a direction. So I want you to understand first before I now moving to where I want to move in. So now, these effects that are happening now, these changes that are happening in the atmosphere needs to be reduced. Governments all over the world, countries all over the world are worried on how to reduce this greenhouse effect, or how to reduce causes of climate change. You understand? Now, so one of the things that they've recommended is that we move away from the use of fossil fuel, use of this petrol to more to a renewable energy. How many of you know what renewable energy is? Huh? Okay, what's one source of renewable energy? Very good. From the sun, you get solar energy. You understand? It's a renewable energy. Energy from the sun, energy from the wind, energy from the water. These are energies that are renewable because the source where it comes from cannot finish. You understand? As it comes, you use them and get replaced. So we also have and those renewable energies, we call them clean energies. You know why we call them clean energies? They don't have effect on human beings. You understand? They don't have effect on human beings. So we call them clean energies. The energies that come from like burning of fuel, burning of diesel, all those ones they release gas into the atmosphere which is harmful to human beings. Now, basically, one of the things that we come up with for how to reduce this climate change is that we have come up with an idea of how to continuously plant trees. You understand? Plant trees, plant flowers, plant things that grows. You understand? Now, why do we plant? You may ask, why do we plant trees and plant flowers? Now, one of the things that you will discover is that I mentioned that greenhouse gases are gas that they produce carbon dioxide, right? Now, when you plant a tree, you know a tree takes in carbon dioxide. How many of you know that? A tree takes in carbon dioxide through a process called photosynthesis and releases oxygen. You understand? So when you plant tree, it tends to absorb the carbon dioxide that is around the environment and release oxygen. And oxygen is also useful to human because we breathe in oxygen, right? We breathe in oxygen. And we also tend to balance the effect on the climate. You understand? Those fossil fuels that has been released, when you plant a lot of trees and the trees keep releasing oxygen, it tends to balance. I have to follow you. I'll ask you this question to know people that are opinion. So why you, as an organization, encourage tree planting? When you plant trees like this, it tends to help the environment. You understand? Apart from beautifying the environment, it tends to stop wind. It also serves as a windbreaker. It also serves as a shade. It also produces oxygen that is actually good for human breath. You understand? So, with this that I've explained, I believe that people will have an understanding of what the climate change is, right? So I can ask my question, right? Yeah? I can ask my question, right? Okay, now what is climate change? Who can explain it to me? Huh? Who can try? I've been talking for a long time now, so I want you to help me so that I will understand people. I will know if people are actually understanding what I'm saying. Huh? Hey, just try, even if you don't, just try. You understand it very well. I don't like the way you put it in your own language. You understand it very well. It's a shift. There's a change from the normal way to an abnormal way in the weather pattern or in temperature. You understand? That's just a simple definition of this. You understand? So now with what I have said so far, it means that you have an idea. Now what does a tree do? Who is going to answer that? I'm talking about this one. What does a tree do to balance the climate change? Okay. Okay, one. Okay, what's yes, very good. But there's one I want to do. Okay. Then no, it gives out oxygen. What I said is that the trees absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and through a process known as photosynthesis, they produce oxygen. You understand? Meaning that it is very good for human beings because oxygen is what humans take, right? So when you plant trees like that, they tend to absorb the carbon dioxide, those poisonous gases that are around. Carbon dioxide, then they produce oxygen, which is good for humans. So it means that you guys are following, right? So okay, with this now, we've come to the end of my presentation. So what we'll do is that maybe a few of you will just will follow us and observe the way we do the tree planting. You understand? And I also encourage you, some of you that have large space in your compound, you tell your parents to plant fruit trees. They're also helpful to human beings, right? Apart from eating those fruits, they also help to maintain the balance in the climate. You understand? So when if you know that you have a large space in your compound, you encourage your parents to plant one tree. It can be mango, it can be whatever. You understand? So, just so you can get the best of it.